Hi, good evening, Linda Fussell here. It is Thursday night, Thursday the 9th of April, just before the Easter weekend. And we've just come in from doing the clap. We have our clap on a Thursday, 8 o'clock here in the UK, where we clap for the NHS staff and all carers and workers that are supporting everybody during this time. And it's such a special time. It's just really nice to be out with the neighbours and just clapping and cheering for those people that are working and doing all great things for us as a community. So really good with that. So here we are on day 17, and this is kind of interesting because I have been doing it every 2 days. So I had intended to do one yesterday, being day 16. And I knew I was going shopping in the evening, so I thought I'd do it after shopping, but of course I always forget how long that takes. And that was a whole interesting exercise on its own too, and I'm going to share that just as a bit of a record keeping, really. I chose to go in the evening so that I wouldn't have to queue too long. In fact, to be honest, I was so busy in the day that I didn't actually get time to get out, and I thought, okay, the evening's perfect. I'll head out. So sort of from about I don't know, I think 6:30ish, I was like, yeah, I must be getting sorted, and it's an exercise. It's an exercise to go out. By the time I've checked in with everybody that the shopping lists are correct and there's nothing else they want to add, and then it's getting dressed in my going to the shops clothes, all those things that I'm going to wash straight afterwards and certainly not going to put near anything else. So it was like that whole exercise of that, and then getting everything organised. And then I go out to the car, and that was interesting. Car wouldn't start, and I've got a hybrid car, and we've had this before actually. Normally happens when the weather's cold. There's a little battery and that's used for the starting, a normal battery, and anyway that got a bit tired, so it wouldn't start, and there was the car like stuck on the drive. But when that happens, you can't turn it off, you can't do anything with it, so it's like, oh man. You can lock it manually, so I've done that. Nothing else I could do. Got another car, a little car that we run around town with normally, but I haven't been using that one because it was going to sound crazy, but the battery fob has been suspect for a while, and I kind of was going, oh, I don't actually want to get stuck with that. And we obviously can't go to the garage to get silly things like battery fob, the fob for the battery changed. And you think, yeah, you can do that yourself, but they like us to take it in there, and they don't charge us, and it's all fine. Anyway, so I kind of looked at this, and here is just how miracles happen. I mean, it was kind of really interesting because during the day, my dad had asked for, I don't know, he'd asked for something or other. I was looking, I think for envelopes or something, and I was looking in my stock of what envelopes I had, and I thought, oh, there must be some others somewhere else. And then while I was there, I just happened to find one of those small flat batteries, and you know where this is going, don't you? You can see exactly where this is going. So I took it downstairs and I went, I've got these envelopes I've got, and here's this battery that I found, but I'm going to stick it where all our other little odd batteries live, in the one drawer. So I put it in the drawer so it's with all the others so that we know where it is. And that was fine. That was in the afternoon, and then of course I get to the evening, can't start the one car, so now I need to do something about this fob. So I bravely open it up, and sure enough, the battery it requires is the one that I found earlier in the day. And you kind of go, wow, how amazing was that? Thank you, universe. So that was brilliant. I mean, absolutely brilliant news. It's just putting it out there and taking time to notice, and just asking the universe for a little bit of help and guidance, and where things are and what you need. So I duly changed the battery in my fob, and the garage really don't like us doing it ourselves. They like to do it for us. Anyway, I did it. Went outside, it worked, car opened. Car won't start. This is the problem when you don't drive cars. Batteries go flat. So now this is a manual, it's a fully manual car, this one. So battery won't start. And I'm like, okay, so this is challenge. Now what am I going to do? Anyway, the drive's got a bit of a slope, so let the car run off the drive, sort of slowly back into the road, trying to steer it with the manual. No power steering that you get used to, and like, get onto the road, and then having gone back as far as I could go, then turned it round, and the roads are quiet, so it's no problem. And I'm at the top of the hill, so let it run down the hill, and I was able to jump start it. Hallelujah, that was amazing. That was absolutely brilliant. And it's such a good feeling to be able to do things. It's really interesting when you are, I want to say challenged. It wasn't really a challenge, but when you are given the opportunity to try things that we really should be able to do. And it felt good. It felt great. Anyway, I then decided that I would take a long route round to go to the second closest supermarket. So I did that, and I went out via the village of Killinghall, just did a little run round where I could at least get the car up to 60 on one road and 40 on the other road. But it was all good. But driving through the housing estate where I live, it was just so amazing. I mean, I'm normally walking, and I'm normally walking with the dog and doing things, so I'm seeing it from on foot like everybody else is. But now I was in a car, and I was definitely the minority. I didn't see, on the estate, I didn't see another car moving, being driven. But what I did see were people everywhere, and all walking alone with their dogs or with their families, and standing talking. So standing in the middle of the road, as you do, because there's no cars. They, on the one, which is really quite a busy entrance road, there was a lady standing in the middle of the road, and then there were people standing on the pavement and separately. So there were obviously 3 different groups of people. I think 2 of them had dogs, but they were all standing well apart from each other, you know, good 5 meters apart from each other, and having a jolly good conversation, but standing in the middle of the road. And I had done that, I don't know, yesterday morning. I think it was yesterday morning. Whenever it was bin day or whatever, I was out and I saw my neighbour across the way, and we stood and had a conversation. I was standing on my side of the road, he was standing on his side of the road, we were having a conversation. And then, of course, some people came down the road, which meant that I moved into the middle of the road to allow people to stay on the pavement outside my house, and we continued our conversation with my neighbour. And it was really, it's so nice to see everything slowed down. It sounds really strange, but everything has just slowed down. And people are noticing things. I've mentioned this before when I've been out walking, that people are noticing that the cherry trees are out, and I've been capturing the photos of those. So the cherry trees are in blossom, beautiful. But now I noticed today that we've had yesterday was really warm. Today was not warm. It was kind of windy and kind of cold. But the blossoms are now turning on the trees. And when I went down to the shop, I came back after dropping off the shopping with the elderly lady I look after, and I put some petrol in and done all those good things that you need to do when you're out and about. Came down the one road I actually haven't walked down for a while. I always tend to walk, for whatever reason, in the one direction, and I haven't walked the other way for quite a while. Probably a good, probably 2 weeks. It probably is 2 weeks actually since I've done that. And I drove past there where there's a bank of beautiful daffodils. And I saw that the daffodils were going over. So I've been capturing and watching everything opening. And now we're getting to the stage where some of those beautiful spring flowers are reaching the end of their time, and they're sort of dying off. And it's like, wow, okay, so that's okay. So that was interesting to see. Anyway, so that was a great observation of just people and community and talking and being together and just doing really, I want to say normal things, but gentle things, and spending time together. So that was the shopping expedition as far as getting there. When I got there, I chose to park where if I needed to let the car run to start it again, I could. So I parked up and went in, and I was, by this time it was now, got to the supermarket 7:20, and it shuts at 8. It would normally shut at 10, but of course with the exceptional times, the opening hours have changed. So got there at 7:20. Thought, oh yeah, shuts at 8 anyway, we'll make it. I've got my 3 shopping lists. And I was third in line in the queue, which was great. It didn't have a long wait. In fact, it was a very quick wait. It moved really quickly to get in. There's my pup. Hello, pup. So went in, and the guy was really chatty and friendly, and as ever, personally cleaned the handle and the trolley, and said, here's your personal trolley, all cleaned and all the rest. And you go in, and inside there's hand sanitizer and things, and it's all very organised now. And going down the aisle, doing my shopping, and there's markers, like I said before, where you can know how to keep your distance, etc. But I hate going shopping. I'll be honest, I don't like the experience. It's now 10 days since I've been in a supermarket, and I kind of feel clean and safe not being amongst people. So when I go out for my daily walk, I keep my distance way from everybody else, and I kind of feel in my own space. And I'm very conscious of, if I have to open a poo bin, I've got hand sanitizer with me, but actually we've got open dustbins, and I've been trying to use those. So all those kind of things, I've been really careful about what I'm touching, who I'm seeing, how close I'm getting, all those things. In a supermarket, you have less control. It doesn't matter how clean your hands are, you don't know who's breathed or coughed or touched whatever you're picking up, putting in your trolley, and not everybody keeps their distance. So when I was getting, I don't know, some vegetables, fruit actually, I don't know if it was bananas or nachos or whatever it was, something or other, clementines, you won't know what nachos are, but they're a word that some of us know. A guy came really close to me, and I turned round to him and said, 2 meters, what are you doing? And I was like quite, I don't say anxious, but I was like, you're less than 2 meters, I'm keeping my space, you keep your space, get away. And he kind of looked at me like I was overreacting, and maybe I was, but I just don't like it. Keep my space, this is the rules, this is what we're encouraged to do, this is how we keep ourselves safe, how we keep each other safe, and how we flatten the curve for the NHS, really. So did my shopping, got everything I needed to get. It was I got everything I needed to get, got a few extra things because I'm shopping for other people, kind of have an idea of things that they like, so I got a few extra special things, and filled up their lists, got their lists, and got a few nice treat things in there. Then got to the checkout, and when you've got 3 shops in one basket, I normally do 2 shops. I do 2 shops. I've been doing 2 shops regularly because I look after an elderly lady. But now I'm doing my parents as well, and they have quite a long list. I think I mentioned this last week, so that was fine. Packing it all out so it's all in its separate things on the belt takes a while. So I'm able to let people go past me that just had handfuls of things they were collecting. Anyway, when I got down to the checkout, talking to the cashier guy, they've got their protective plastic screens, etc., in front of them, and he was quite on edge. They've had a really tough day, and been a lot of aggression in the store, a lot of people not understanding the process in Aldi, where when things come through the checkout, you just put them all back in your trolley, and you move to the shelf on the end, and you pack your bags, or you take it out your car, pack it into your car, or do what you like. But you do not pack at the checkout. That is a no-no. You do not pack at the checkout. So he was going, oh, we must have been getting slack because people are not understanding this. And I'm like, no, I think you've got new people coming into the store, because we've known this forever. That's how the system works. It works really quickly. It's how you move people through. But he was saying that he was really grateful for the screen because it was protecting him from aggressive people that he really felt might have punched him. I'm really glad I didn't see any of that. But I'll go back to where we were. So yesterday was day 16. And I kind of alluded to this in the last video. I've done a number of 40-day challenges, and anybody who's done a 40-day challenge, whether it's a meditation challenge, a yoga challenge, to be honest, anything, any sort of challenge, it's a pretty well-known, documented fact, and I say it's a fact, that day 16 is crunch day. And in fact, if you can about 50% of the people will drop out of a 40-day challenge. And it's called a challenge because it is a challenging thing to commit to something for 40 days. About 50% of the people will drop out on day 16. But those that actually get through to day 20 have a very good chance of making it to the day 40. So here we are on day 16, and I've been anticipating this becoming an issue, and I've talked about it in various places. But we have a couple of things going on here. What happens in the beginning, the first week of something new, is it's all exciting, and particularly if it's a challenge that you've chosen to do, it's exciting, and you're getting into new things. In this instance, it wasn't something we chose to do, and the first week was pretty tough for people, but it was new, and you're kind of getting into it and trying to work out what you're doing. Week 2 is, okay, this is not as easy as I thought it was, but it's getting better. We've got some sort of routine in place. Feeling like I'm doing it. You kind of do it. Week 3 comes, and obviously day 16 is in week 3, and all of a sudden the mind starts working out that there are other things that would be more fun to do. Really should be cleaning the house, really should be doing this instead of that, really should be doing anything else other than my routine, my plan, what I was trying to do. Particularly when I'm challenged, there's 100 reasons why I won't do my yoga in the morning, and then you try and fit it in the evening, and then you're tired, and then you don't feel like doing it, and it's just like, for some reason, day 16 is when it all falls apart. It starts getting tough. Day 17 it gets tough. Day 18, 19, but if you can get through that, then you kind of, okay, this is what it is. So it's mind over matter. But of course, we are now in the situation here in the UK in particular, where we are waiting to hear about the extension to the lockdown. And to be honest, we need it. I'm pretty, they're talking about extending it. We still don't know the details of it. But it's now being brought up that, yes, it's going to be extended. At the same time, we've got our Prime Minister in hospital. So tonight he was released from intensive care back into a general ward. So we've got this other sort of reality going on. Where's the top leadership, and there's also there's all those things. But we've got our own personal challenges. It's day 16, 17, and we've got a huge amount going on in our world, and that is a challenge. I mean, that really is tough. So the things that the supermarket was seeing yesterday with the aggression, definitely a sign of day 16. People out walking, it's been quite interesting, because my parents are doing, not that willingly, but are doing complete self-isolation. So they're staying on the property, not in the house, but in the staying in the garden and stuff. And my goodness me, are they busy? They've been far busier this week than I've known them be busy doing things. But they're not able to get out, and that's been fine. And then yesterday they kind of said they thought they would want to go down to the post box and post some letters. And I'm like, touching post boxes, don't know about that. Take hand sanitizer and do all these things, and it wasn't that windy, and they really haven't been out at all, and I could see they really wanted to. So I kind of said to them that it wasn't a great idea, but if they just went to the post box, then probably okay. Anyway, they went there, and they were really grateful to see the cherry trees and the blossom and all that, because they actually walk past to the post box that they went to. They walk past, the post box is on the corner that I take the photos from when I'm out. So my corner in time, they take the photos there are really close to the post box. They walked to that post box, saw the cherry trees, and were going, wow, they're glad they saw the cherry trees, but they're starting to turn already. And then they commented that they didn't really see anybody, but a couple of people that they did see sort of on the side, nobody was talking. And I meant, yeah, people are very, particularly this week, very, not aggressive, but protective, like silent. So unless you know the people, if you know somebody, you often just say hello or strike up a conversation. But if you don't know them, very few people are talking, which is unusual around here, because if you see somebody out when you're out walking, everybody says hello and everybody talks to each other. And at the moment it's radio silence. And they noticed that in their very short walk. They noticed that. So that was quite quite an interesting observation that had happened. And then I didn't do my video yesterday, so that was another day 16 thing. I kind of put it down to day 16. I'm not beating myself up about it. But it was quite interesting. When you come back, I got back by the time I dropped off the other shopping and got back here and unpacked. And when I unpack everything, I've got wet wipes and I'm cleaning. I mean, probably paranoid, but I clean everything. Everything that comes out the shopping bag gets wiped down and cleaned. And in the house, I'm keeping 2 meters from my parents, and so they've got to stand back while I unload everything and put it on their table, and then they sort it out afterwards. Anyway, that takes ages. It absolutely takes ages. So by the time I'd done that and done mine and sort of then washed my hands and, you know, got changed, and when I've finished shopping, doing all the shopping, then I go and have a bath that I scrub from head to toe. So that's I was saying to a friend of mine afterwards that my shopping days coincide with hair washing days. I when I come back from the shops, I wash my hair. I scrub literally from top to toe. So that was done. But then of course my hair was wet and it was like, I don't know, 10:30, 11:15. So I sat down and did a few things online. That was fine. Did a few things, but I didn't feel like doing the video. And I thought about doing the video, but then I had wet hair, and it just didn't feel like. I was quite tired. I find it stressful, and I was tired. So I didn't do the video last night. I thought, no, I'll do it in the morning. I'll do it in the morning. This is a day 16 thing. Absolutely. It's okay. I'll justify not doing it today. I'll do it tomorrow. So I thought, no, I'll do it in the morning. I had an early meeting first off, and then I had a bit of a gap until 12 o'clock of meetings, but obviously I had loads to do. So I thought, no, fine, I'll get it done. No problem. I'll do it. Well, here I am, and it is now 9:15. So even after we've done the 8 o'clock clap, here I am going, yeah, I want to do it, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it now. But that's where I am. It's day 17, and don't beat yourself up. This is something that happens. This is what goes on. It's how when we stretch ourselves and give ourselves a challenge that is going to be for an extended period of time, this is what happens. This is normal. This is the way it works. So that's sort of day 16 and 17 for me and where I am. But I've also had clients. I've had quite a lot of clients this week, which has been good. Sort of looking at my computer behind there just to see what my diary was like. I had a lovely lass this evening who, she's a student, a master's student, and she's had a really hectic couple of weeks and done amazingly well. I mean, she is amazing. She's getting phenomenal results. She got, top results in one of the assignments she submitted, and she's a really smart lass, and she's doing really, really well. But having done her submissions, she was saying that she just can't motivate herself, can't get into a routine, can't get anything working, can't study, can't do all the things she needs to be doing. And I went, take a breath. It's okay. It's okay. You've been working crazy hours, you've been working all night, you've been not eating properly. If you needed a day off, which she had taken a day off, she said, I just slept all day, and then I got up and watched some TV, and I went back to sleep, and I got up and went back to sleep. It's okay. It is okay to do these things, and we do need to recognize that we need some downtime. So when you've been doing something extraordinary, we always give ourselves some downtime. We need to. When we've been working really hard, and you'll be able to relate to this, I'm sure. When we've been working really hard and we go on holiday, how many people get sick? It's a crazy thing. When you've been working flat out and you go on holiday, boom, all of a sudden you're sick for the first couple of days. And that's the body just saying, stop, I just want to take some time out. So I was just saying to you, it's all right. Don't beat yourself up. But don't keep doing that. For a couple of days, that's okay. But now, what's important to you? So the whole thing about this is working out what is important and why it's important. And it's obviously important for her to finish her studies and to do the things that she's doing. And she's got plenty of work to be getting on with. And also she really enjoys cooking and enjoys her food, but she hasn't been bothering to do that. She's been eating porridge and, you know, sort of slacking on that front. And it's like, nope, your body needs food, and get it into that routine. Just cook one meal that's enough for 3 or 4 meals, and then put it in the fridge and eat it when you can. Just heat it up, and then it's all there. It's easy to be done because you're living on your own. It can, you know, don't make it a challenge. Find the ways around it, and then try and get into some regular sleep patterns, and obviously the exercise. And she's been good about her exercise. That's good. But get a routine and get it together, and take some time out. We cannot all work full out. And I've been trying to say this to people. I know I've had to release myself from the pressure of, oh, I needed to do this today and I should have done that today. And I think I talked about my list. I've got a lot more ticks on it. It's fair to say I have a lot more ticks on it, and I've been making pretty good progress on it, and I feel good. I do feel good about that. I did want to have it all done by sort of Monday night, maybe Tuesday, but it's okay. It's actually okay. And I'm making progress, and I'm getting it done, and I'm doing my things I need to do. So give yourself some break, some time, and just, you know, it's okay. We are all going through something completely different and completely unique. So let me have a little bit of my elderberry elixir that we made this. I think this one was actually not last year's, the year before's, but we do have last year's one as well. It's something that we make every winter for the flus and the colds and things that come into the house, if there are any. But also it's jolly nice as a winter drink. Right at the minute, it's essential to keep our strength up, and it is so good. If you like my mug, it's a Yorkshire farm mug. I've got a couple of them. I really like them. Oh, it was hot. It's not so hot now. Yeah, but it's really nice. So where was I? Okay, so just reflecting on where I've been. So today I had a meeting with a group of people that we've been trying to get together with. For a couple of weeks. I think 2 weeks ago we had a meeting set, and it had taken about 5 weeks to get that date in the diary. So it was busy people trying to get the time in. Anyway, the meeting 2 weeks ago got moved because two of the 4 of us were poorly. I might have mentioned this actually in an earlier video. So today was moved it out 2 weeks, and one of the 2 that were poorly was there, the other one wasn't. I need to follow up and see where she was. It's good to see John SRF's live in Facebook at the minute. It just popped up on my screen. I'll catch up with him later. But it was really nice to connect with the 2 people that I did connect with, and that was interesting. It showed a whole heap of things, and the reason I'm sharing these is because I'm hoping that you can relate, and if it is applicable to you, then maybe it hits a note and something you can think about and make changes in your life, or makes you feel it's okay. So the point of these videos, just going back on that, the point of these videos are twofold. One is it's a video diary for me as to what's been happening during this crisis. I mean, it is, I was explaining it to somebody else as well, we are in the middle of a war zone, except that we're not seeing shells dropping around us. It is a silent, hidden war that we are in the middle of, and it really is. It is a war zone. There's no second prize or second way of looking at that, and it's just a different time of life. So these videos are capturing my thoughts, my feelings, my experiences, my learnings, my insights from how I'm doing, how my clients are doing, things I'm seeing from people I'm engaging with, what I'm noticing. So that's a very personal why they're here. But I really do hope that they bring you something. And if you're if you're taking time to actually even watch the video, then well done you, and hopefully it gives you something that gives you an insight to you and to your life and people around you, and helps make things a little bit better, because that is my aim, is to make things a bit better. I do try and put a blog around the video, and it kind of, the blog follows the themes, and it brings some of the insights from the video, but it doesn't repeat what's on the video. It takes some of the insights that are from there and gives you actions to follow. So if you've picked this up on YouTube, then there's a blog which is referenced on YouTube that then gives you some actions to take forward, and might capture some of the insights that I've got. And likewise, if you're reading the blog, well, if you've got this far on the video, you'll know about it. If you've read the blog, the video is different to the blog. There you go. Obvious sometimes. Anyway, so this meeting this morning with these two other people was really interesting, because the lass, Jane, she's amazing. She's a single lass now. In fact, all three of us focus on supporting divorcees. There's four of us, and there's potentially a fifth person, that have a collaboration and provide a support package to help divorcees. And it was a really interesting conversation, because we've been talking about this since January, and we've eventually got to, this meeting now happened today, and of course the world is so completely different. But, and this is a really interesting thing, this time is either going to help difficult or strained relationships work out what's important and how to work together, and actually spend time with, potentially with partners that people haven't spent time with for a while. And that's going to be really interesting. Or it's going to completely break down, and they're going to go, we can't do this anymore, and we need to split. And I'm hoping it's the former for a lot of people. I see this. It was at one point, it was a focus of mine, but it's not my main client market at the moment, where people whose kids left school, have just left school, or gone off to university, or have left home. People whose children have left home, and I guess you do things when it's appropriate to where you are. So I was probably looking at that closer to the time when my children left home, but they're long gone now. What happens when the kids leave home? I'm going right off track here, but this is how it goes. What happens when the kids leave home is the two parents kind of look at each other over the dining room table and go, or kitchen table or whatever, and go, who the heck are you? I haven't spent any time with you in the last 20 years. I don't know actually who you are, how it works. I used to find you attractive. The moment you're the father of the children, and you do dad things, and I'm the mum, and I do the mum things, and the world has been the kids and the family. And that's all changed. The kids are gone. And we talk about empty nest syndrome, but actually the kids are gone, and I'm looking at this stranger across the table and going, oh shit, who are you? Anyway, apologies for the language. I think that this time is probably quite similar, in that the kids haven't left home, you've got the kids at home, so you've got an added stress. You've potentially got everybody working from home, kids at home studying, got their schoolwork, parents trying to be teachers or create bandwidth and silence, space where you can do online school lectures and things, school classes. And then you've got the two parents who are trying to maintain their jobs and keep doing what they're doing on the one hand. Or you've got the other hand, where one or both of the parents are not working at the moment, and there's financial challenges and everything's a bit uncertain and nobody's feeling comfortable. Or you've got a third scenario where one or both of the parents are essential workers, and they are going out and being exposed to the most challenging of environments. I don't actually think any of them are particularly nice. If you're working in the hospitals, it's tough. If you're working in the doctor's rooms, it's tough. If you're working in the pharmacies, it's tough. If you're working in supermarkets, it's tough. Super tough. If you're working in the supply chain, it's tough. You've got to keep your distance from people if you're producing things. And if you are on the road delivering things, whether it's home deliveries from supermarkets, whether it's parcel deliveries, whatever it is, whether it's deliveries to supermarkets, you've got that. The roads are super quiet. That's kind of nice for a change. But you've got that stress of being out, mixing with people. And I was listening to something today where bus drivers are the people that are getting being noted as being off ill, or now being isolated because they're starting to show symptoms. And those people have been so exposed to all sorts of things because of their nature. They can't, people come close to them to pay. So what I'm saying is that you've got these range of people in the houses of different things that are happening. But at the end of the day, this isolation, whichever situation you're in, this isolation time, I say isolation, it's not even isolation, it's the stay-at-home time. And let's not talk about isolation, because isolation is something completely different. This is it's physical distancing, social distancing, not isolation. Is a time for us to retreat from our busy lives. I talked about cocooning last time. It's a time to be going inward. It's a lot of inward work happening, going on the planet. The planet herself is going through changes, and there's inward work there. As humans, we are going through changes. But I'm hoping that through this quiet time, the couples that were having challenges are finding a way to communicate, remember why they got together, remember the things they used to like about each other, and how they actually gel and interact and form that cohesive bond that they had before, or develop a new way of being together. It's not going to be like that for everyone. The calls to the crisis teams, the calls to all the teams that support people with domestic abuse, etc. Those calls have really escalated, and I really feel for those people. But this might be the time where the people that have been putting up with situations that are intolerable now realize that these situations are intolerable and are able to make that step away and move on to something different. We talk about finding strength through adversity. Well, flippin' heck, we're in a really strange situation now. So there's certainly, if ever there was a time to find strength through adversity, now is it. So it's going to be tough for those people. It sure is going to be tough. There's no second prize on that. But they hopefully will find their way through that and out of that, and the strength to do what they need to do. Anyway, back to where I was. God, I'm really good at going off track, aren't I? So I should maybe do them more often, but I didn't. So we were then talking as a group that right now we've got our own things that we need to work on, but we need to be preparing for after the lockdown. Then what happens? There's probably going to be a rise in divorce cases. Harry was saying that from a divorce mortgage expert, it's a well-known fact that post-Christmas there's always an increase in divorces. So what happens at Christmas time? People are sitting together, you spend holiday time together and going, can't do this, got to get out. We're in that same situation. You're either in or you're out. You either find a way through it, which hopefully if you can, you do, and if you can't, you find the strength to get out. So we're working together as to what we can do to support people post all of this. But then we were looking at where are we all in this, and that was really interesting. So stick with Harry for the minute. Harry has unconfirmedly had the virus. Obviously there's not been testing, but he's been proper poorly, and he is at a high risk, so that's even more concerning. But he was looking okay today. He was struggling a bit, but he was looking all right. His son has been poorly, really poorly, but his wife and daughter have been okay. Now, that was quite interesting on its own. Obviously, we're really grateful that Harry was on the call today, and that Harry's okay, and that it was really nice to have him there with his. He's a I'm going to use the word. He's a light worker, and definitely into understanding the spiritual changes of where we are and what's happening on the planet and what's going on, and quite accepting that some of us won't make the transition into the new world. The energy and the raising of the vibration that's happening. So there's a planetary vibration that's change that's happening, and as individuals, our vibration's changing, and we're being given this time to adjust to the vibration and just to understand that we are all one. At the end of the day, we are all one. We are one with the planet, we're one with each other, we are one. And this is now going to freak out a lot of people. Sorry, that's just the way I see things, the way things are for some of us. And hopefully at some point the rest will follow on. Right, we need to more juice off there. So good, even if it's cold. So anyway, talking with Harry was great. And the only thing that Harry needs to do over the next few weeks is recover. You know, he's feeling a bit better, but really weak and, you know, super tired and struggling a bit. But he's doing okay. So, you know, all the best to Harry and hope he gets better soon. Jane, on the other hand, lives on her own, also divorcee, and has been finding it a bit tough. Doesn't have any creativity, and Jane is an interior decorator, so she is the one with the most amazing creative ideas. And I kind of looked at her and went, hey, get it together, because the world needs you right now. It's okay to take some time down. Nope, some downtime. There you go. But we all need to, if we've got something to offer, we need to step up. And that is really important. We need to step up, and we need to, you know, show ourselves and provide the service and value that we can to clients and potential clients and future clients and existing clients and all the rest of it. And Jane was saying that, you know, a couple of her clients have, you know, obviously had to put their work on hold because they're in the middle of things, but she knows it'll come back. But right now she's, you know, got nothing to do and she's bored. And I went, whoa, 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 whoa. Right now there are a lot of people at home bored, nothing to do. More than ever, they need some advice and some help. So find a way of connecting with those people and providing them with support on their ideas to do their home up. Give, you know, consultations and things. Oh, but I can't charge for that, you know. Oh, I've got to live as well. Like, because you can charge for that. Why wouldn't you charge for that? That's a service. That's a value. It's just about repositioning what you do and how you do it. She said, oh, I'm not good on social media, I don't like doing these things. Bollocks. You don't have to do it all through social media. There's different ways of doing things. Social media is obviously a key way of doing things. I hope I don't get cut out on this video because I'm expecting a call. There you go. So we had a few discussions around it, and it was, how else could you do this? You know, people have smartphones. Get them to show you what they're trying to do, and then you come up with some ideas and discuss it with them. Have a video conference, discuss it with them, talk about what they can do, let them order their stuff online and let them get started, and when they get stuck or whatever, let them consult with you and, you know, charge for that. They'll be grateful to have somebody that's helping them, advising them, you know. So many of us are looking at things at home and going, yeah, we should change that, wouldn't know where to start. But if we've got somebody that we can actually talk to, because we can't have somebody come in and do it, but we could do it ourselves, and that's another one of we could actually do this and we have time, and it's now testing ourselves to step out. But it's also nice to have someone who can give us some guidance. Anyway, there are different ways of doing things, and at the end of the call, I think Jane was a lot more positive about, yeah, she probably could try this, and I hope she does, because the world needs her. She needs to keep her business going, and obviously needs an income. And there are opportunities. You know, there are people that have their houses that they want to do some things in and not sure where to start. There are people that have lots of people in the house, families that have lots of people in the house, who are struggling to find space for everybody to do the work they need to do, or whatever, or to relax, or whatever. And she'll be able to help with that. She is a creative genius, an absolute creative genius. And I think I'll definitely, as I've done with all my videos, I will tag references to the people I refer to. So yeah, Jane is brilliant, and can help with creating working spaces and relaxing spaces and redecorating and doing whatever else you need to do in your house. And I think she's ready to go and give it a bash. None of us are perfect in this stage. We are all finding different ways of doing things. So it's just get out there and do what you can do. And for goodness sake, don't get caught in the trap of doing, I must do everything for free. I listened to an amazing podcast from Amy Porterfield, who's somebody that I've kind of connected with over the last few years, and I listen to her podcast quite often. And it's the online marketing something or other. Anyway, Amy is, I think it was episode 306 or 307, it was one of those, was talking about should we be charging during this time, during COVID-19, coronavirus time. And her message was very strong, and I was struggling with this too, so it was really useful for me to hear that at the time. We all hear what we need to hear when we're ready to hear it, and understanding that the messages are out there all the time, but it's just when we tune into things we hear them. I'm going off track again, but let me just elaborate on this a little bit. So if you think of the radio waves, they are in the ether all the time. Okay, so the radio waves of all the stations are going out there all the time. But when we turn the dial, we tune into the radio station that we want to listen to now. And we can tune it a bit more, and we tune into another station, and tune it again a bit more, and we go somewhere else. So everything that we need to know is there. Okay, and when you're ready to hear it and you tune in your receiver, I'm a receiver, you retune it into it, there's the message, there you get it. So I was ready to hear the message, and I was like, what am I going to do? I've got this program I want to put out, was ready to go, I've been delaying on it, don't know what to do with it. And Amy came forward with this podcast that I listened to, and she very clearly, and what made absolute sense in my mind, said that if we've got something that's of value to the people right now, we should be selling it. We owe it to the people to be giving them what they need right now. More than that, not everybody has no money, and don't get bullied or forced into the I don't have the money, I can't afford that now. That's fine. There are people that can afford and do want and have the time and are looking for the value that you can add with whatever you do. So don't fall for it has to be done for free. Don't fall for it must be deeply discounted. If it's adding value and providing some real service and need to a community of people, make sure that you are giving it to those people. They need it. Those people need it. Your business needs it. As a business, your business needs it, and the economy needs it. The economy needs the money to be moving. There was a beautiful post on Facebook that I saw the other day. I really still haven't got myself back into social media, but I try every now and then, and I do need to find it again. I think it was Facebook, it might have been Instagram, somewhere. And the essence of it, and this is going on, and I hope you're enjoying it or not. It doesn't really matter. For me, it's important. that I'm sharing it. And if you choose to turn your radar into it, your radio dial into it, that's also good for you. You're in the right place at the right time. So this post was about a guy coming into a hotel, up to the reception desk and going, I'm needing a room for the night. Have you got a room for me? Yep. Can I go and look at it, please? And see that it's going to meet my needs. Absolutely. He says, right, let me just put the $100 on the thing. This is the money for the thing, just in case. Yeah, that's fine. So he put his $100 bill on the counter and went upstairs. The hotel owner took that $100 bill and ran down the road and paid whoever it was that supplied something to him that he owed $100 to, and that knocked off his debt. That person went down the road and paid off their debt, which was $100 to the butcher or whatever it was, who then went to the farmer and paid off their debt, which was $100, who then went to somewhere else and paid off their debt, who then went back to the hotel and paid off their debt that was on credit and gave them the $100. By the time the person came back downstairs, here's this video call coming in now. I'll pick it up in a bit. By the time the person came downstairs, the $100 was back on the counter and all the debts had been cleared. Everybody had paid back everything that they owed. And that is how economy works. That is the cycle of money and how things work. So we owe it to ourselves, to our businesses, to the people we're trying to serve, and to the wider economy to keep things flowing. It is absolutely essential. So if you have a business and you're looking at things, find a way to deliver your value. Find a way to provide what you can provide. Make sure you get out there and do what you can do. So that was that part. Anyway, that was that call, and it was a great call. I think everybody ended pretty positively at the end. So what have I talked about? I've talked about all sorts of things, haven't I? But I've really only talked about last night and today, and of course I've talked about the 16th. So yesterday, oh yeah, see the last 2 days I've been really busy. I have been really busy, and I've had amazing coaching clients, amazing insights with different people. Some of them are really struggling. I'll be honest, some of them really struggling, and it's day 16 and that's where we are. Some of them amazingly positive. There's a lass who I just love spending time with, who has taken, my dog down there, has taken this time to, she's an accountant, I've mentioned her before. Teresa's amazing. She's been working absolutely flat out and gone. This week she's back to her routine, back to normal, working her hours. And one of the things that we looked at there, must look desk. One of the things that we looked at was your perception of how things are versus other people's perceptions of how things are will differ, and it's making sure that everybody understands where things are. So if you are in a position of going, I'm okay with where this is and I'm okay with where I've put things out, but some people are looking at me going, that's a bit weird to have done that, talk to them. If they're people that are close to you, just talk to them and understand where they are coming from, because life will be very different for them from their side. Understand where they're coming from and help them understand where you are and what's important to you right now. You understand what's important to them and let them understand what's important to you. It goes back to communication. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Confidentiality is important. But there's this communication thing about talk to each other. Make sure you understand. Don't assume that everybody's on the same page as you. And then I think that was a pretty common theme. It was communication all the way through. It was tough. People finding it really tough, finding it difficult to motivate, struggling with routine, wanting to do things, feeling so tired. Common theme, feeling so tired. It is tiring. It is stressful. Stress and anxiety causes fatigue. It is you're wired high, you know, tightly. I was really tired last night. I'd been to the shops. I was really stressed. It's one of those things. It's okay. It is different. It's stressful. It's okay. Just chill out. Sleep more. Give yourself some downtime. Try and keep a routine. A routine is important. I know I said I was going to do a special video on this, and I haven't done it yet. I will. Getting there. So that was that. And then I had two amazing other things that happened, and then I'm finished with this quickly. So hopefully do this quite quickly. I had a fantastic call with a young lass from Mongolia. So I think I told you a couple of weeks back I was a guest speaker on a program in Mongolia, and it was fantastic. In fact, that reminds me I've got something else to do, because I'm being asked to be a guest speaker in Japan as well, and I'm doing some stuff with Australia. What is it about the East? I used to do lots of work with the US and Canada, but they're kind of busy at the minute. They've got a lot of things on, and I seem to be looking the other way. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Anyway, so this call with this lass from Mongolia was just amazing. She is so inspiring, and she had prepared so thoroughly, and she had some fantastic questions, and we worked through some stuff, and it was beautiful. It was really, I just love working with clients. I don't know, maybe I'm mad, but that's the way it is. I love seeing people find their sweet spot in life, what they're trying to achieve, find their vision of what they're aiming for, and then their way to get there. And you know, when times get difficult, finding their way out of that. It was great. So Jane was like one of those, and then yesterday I had Bella, who was just fabulous. Really, it was a fantastic call. So organised. So that was that thing. And then on Tuesday morning, just sort of going back, trying to really reflect on it all, I cleared my diary. I had some things in the diary, networking events, and I cleared them. I needed time to do my stuff. I did a heap of journaling around the stress, Stop Stress Now, I think is the name. I'm trying to work out if it is, around the stress course that I'm pulling together. So I cleared my diary of networking events that I didn't feel like doing. I didn't go to one on Monday night. I think I've talked about that. I had one on Monday night as well that I was scheduled to go to. It was 10:30 Monday night with Australia. I was so tired, so I didn't go. I chose not to go. I gave my apologies. And they're a great bunch of people. I love spending time with them. Anyway, I chose not to go. Didn't mean I went to bed early. Still went to bed at 1:30, which was rubbish. I don't know what's going on, but this is what part of what's happening is. Another group was saying today that it seems that everyone around her is going to bed later and getting up later. I know I've been struggling with that. I'm trying to get out of that because it's not something I like. I like to get up early and really crack into my day, get my yoga done, and then get a number of things done early, and then go to the dog walk. Anyway, didn't do it. And so on Tuesday morning, I cleared my diary of another networking event that I was going to go to, and I did my journaling in preparation for releasing a course. And it was, I just sat here quietly by myself and created space to think, space to just be, and really focus on my clients, what I've learnt, the stresses that I'm seeing, and how all the knowledge that I know and have gained over the years and have used with my clients and have seen amazing results, and just how do I package all of that and pull it all together and do all that. And I literally journaled 5 pages of journaling notes, and there's some great stuff. I think great stuff in there. I'm really excited about it. More than that, I'm going to show you. So this is a book that you will see. It's always up behind me. Dream Bigger. A friend of mine, Chris, gave it to me many years ago, and I now use it for my work thoughts. And so each page has some thoughts on it. So when I started my journaling, get back to it, the message was, in order to think different, you have to act different. Oh, that's interesting, isn't it? In order to think different, you have to act different. That's really good. Really what we need right now. And then it's obviously about innovation, this book. So the real break on innovation is the drag of old mental models. Well, that is super interesting, because the things that don't apply right now is the old mental models. We are being forced, literally forced, to think differently, to think creatively, to find different ways of doing things. And that's the heading of page 2. Heading of page 3, most people are simply unable to imagine a different future. That's from Christian Rangan. The other one, the previous one, was from Gary Hamel, I don't know. Hamel, I think. Anyway, most people are simply unable to imagine a different future. Do you know, back in January when we had Greta Thunberg and Extinction Rebellion going, we need to stop doing this, nobody could have imagined we would shut the world down. Absolutely nobody could imagine we would do that. And here we are. Planes are not flying, very few cars are driving, people are staying in their houses, people are being quiet, people are spending time with their families, people are finding new ways of doing things. Who would have imagined that that could happen? So most people are simply unable to imagine a different future, and pretty much all of us were unable to imagine a different future. Anyway, page 4. Watch out for dinosaurs. They are everywhere. Yeah, and think of whatever you want of dinosaurs. But at the end of my last page, there's a dinosaur, and my writing goes around my dinosaur. And I've had this open all day on my desk, and I just love my picture of my dinosaur. There you go. So that's my journaling. So it was fantastic to create the time to make a conscious decision, and I think that's the message, is making a conscious decision. We've gone over the hour here, goodness gracious me. I need to get hold of Barbara, she's waiting for me. To make a conscious decision to do things differently, and decide where you want to invest your time. I talked about this last time about don't be busy for busy's sake. There are so many, I think I talked about it here, I might have been talking with a client. There's so many networking events, there's so many things out there, people that want to connect. It is great to connect, absolutely connect. We have all the tools, we have all the technology, we have the means, we have the need, but be selective. Connect with people who are positive influences on your life. Connect with people who you can support and add value to. Connect to people who value you and support you and your business and whatever else you have in your world. And take time for you. Take time for you to go inwards. Be quiet, be respectful of your journey. We are all going through an amazing transformation. And it's tough. Transformations are tough. It's going to be at least 40 days. Pretty much sure it's going to be at least 40 days. We're on day 16, 17. We're on day 17. We're in the tough part. We're heading into Easter. It's the weekend when most people are on holiday. Normally Easter weekend's normally the busiest weekend on the roads. Guess what? We're not busy this weekend. It's forecast to be a pretty good weekend for us here in the UK. We're not allowed out in the parks, but hopefully those who've got gardens will spend the time in the garden, and those that don't have gardens will spend their time doing things that are good for them as a family. Certainly spend time on your balconies or looking out the windows, getting fresh air, getting some sunbeams in your face. Take your walk. Everybody should be taking their walks, getting out. And there are so many things to do online. Find things that interest you. I got an email from the RSPB today where they've got all sorts of, what was it headed as? Can I see it quickly? I don't think I can see it quickly. RSPB, here we go. Notes on nature bite size. enjoy nature without leaving your living room. So they've got some bite-sized things going on, and it's great. There's I've talked about this before, there's cameras all over the place, but they've got all sorts of fun things, and they've got activities for families to do, for kids to do, for musicians to do. There's loads of exciting things that you can do, and get your daily dose of nature. There are musicians providing amazing concerts online. There is a screening of a number of tours around museums. There are theatre screenings that are being made available. There are movies being released online now. Everything's changed, everything's looking different. Find out what's interesting, what interests you, what's interesting for you as a family, what things that you can do together, what inspires, what relaxes, what's enjoyable, what feels good. But take the time to connect with you, connect with what's inside, and if you need to be quiet, be quiet. Don't get caught up in trying to hide by being busy and on all the networking things, and do what's important for you. And with that, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you for spending the time with me. If anybody's got this far, it's just, we're in a fantastic time. It's very tragic, all the deaths that are happening, all the people that are getting ill, but it's also a phenomenal time for us as a humanity, for us on planet Earth, as all of us go through the changes. We've just had the full moon. The full moon was it just last night? It was just last night. It was yesterday morning, very early yesterday morning, so the night before really. It was sort of 3:45 in the morning, I think. It's been spectacular. We've had clear skies. It's been spectacular to see the full moon. It is really shining brightly on us at the moment. We are in the full glare of what we are and what we're doing and where we are. So I absolutely wish you loads of love. I will be back in probably 2 days, maybe tomorrow, I'll see. Yeah, go carefully, go quietly, have a fabulous, fabulous weekend. Connect, talk, share, explore, inspire, add value, and look after you. And with that, I love you. Keep well.